the heathen and do the practices of the heathen. Hence, when you go to the New Testament, when it speaks about the Gentiles, it's talking about Israelites that grew up thinking that they were heathen, man, or Gentiles. It says, let their names be put out of the earth. Because at one time, man, all we knew, we was African American or black or former slave or whatever the hell, or whatever name you came up with. Let me read that again. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen, the other nations. Let their names be, what is their names? Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And then you got the different names, Tahar, Arayimlab, help me out, Gabar, Nathaniah, Dawayad. But then your tribal names are taken away with. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Gad, Manasseh. Your nation, Israel. It said, let them be scattered abroad among the heathen, and that happened. Let their names be put out of the earth, and that happened, for they have despised my covenant. And then that happened, and that ultimately happened over here in America, because when you go into the history of Israel going into captivity under these different nations, they knew who they were when they went into captivity, and when they were delivered from that captivity, they were delivered knowing that they were Israelites. This is the only captivity where we don't know who we are, and we had to, come upon the name of Israel.
This is the book of Psalms 83:3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that's what happened. And now you still have the name Israel in remembrance, but who do you give credit to? Those gutter rats over there in the land of Israel, or the Yemenite Jew and them other so-called people that call themselves Israelites. But you don't, when you look upon the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians here in America, you don't equate them with being the Israelites. And that's exactly what they did. And that's why the majority of these people out here are blinded. And now through the Spirit, the word is going out who the real Israelites are, and it's going out on a large scale, on a massive scale, and you devils are getting nervous. That's why you're trying to sit there and do your Alpha and Omega ministries and all this other stuff, to try to combat the truth. But you can't fight against the Lord. Your arms are too short to box with God, man. What's wrong? What's your problem? So now that happened, there was a situation that took place here in America to where Israel started waking back up, And this is I'm gonna jump to Isaiah. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 44. Just give me 1 second here. Isaiah chapter 44, and I'm going to start at, I'll start at 1 and read down quick. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring, and they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses. Because at one time, this land was barren and dry of faith, But then once the Spirit of the Lord jumped on a man by the name of Abba Bivens, he started waking the children of Israel back up to their nationality. So that's began that water. That water started watering the different plants that the Most High had planted before the world began. And then once that water touched those specific plants, they started waking up. It says, one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. So that's when we started waking back up. So like as the Apostle Tahar said, they took those names away from you. Now you're getting those names back. That's where you got brothers that got names, the different names, Abba Ya'ala and they call themselves Samuel or Sham Ya'ala, the different Hebrew names, Sham Shawan and Dawud Dad and all those different Hebrew names.
Yeah, you mentioned about the water.
God.
This is the book of John 4:14. It says, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him, and this is Yahushua speaking, shall never thirst.
God.
But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. So that's that living water. So that's the same water that you read about in Isaiah 44:4. It says, well, beginning at the third verse, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty. That's that water that Yahushua said he would give.
That living water. That
living water, which is this word.
God.
And floods like bubble-eyed crackhead.
Yeah.
He's baptizing people in dirty water, and he thinks that's fulfilling the will of the Heavenly Father. That's why James White toyed with him like a cat with a mouse, man. Then let
me say this. I'll say Elder his title. I'm trying to be a nicer guy. But if I'm mad, I'm gonna go revert back to the name I'm used to calling you. But you know what, man? You need to fall the hell back.
Just step down.
Because the Most High is not dealing with you, man.
Yeah.
Okay. You bring me some goddamn evidence that there's some name a higher by Hashem Yeshai. You made that up, my man.
Yeah.
And then all the stuff that scriptures that you spew out, you got that from Ariana and them, man.
Right.
Like you some deep guy, man. And Nate, we don't even hardly talk about him. He's basically an afterthought. He's last year's news and shit, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Y'all got it.
Isaiah 44:3, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed and my blessing upon thine offspring. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses. And the reason why I read that, and well, Elder Apostle Aramnab read it first, then I read it, is to back up what Yahushua said back in John, the 4th chapter, the 14th verse, when he spoke about the living water. He said it shall be in him. Notice he said him. And he was talking to a woman, by the way, which was not an Israelite. She was of another nation, a heathen, if you will. And shall give him, John 4:14, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. What is this water? This word, this knowledge, this understanding, which is springing up.
I got a scripture here. This is Jeremiah 29, verse 13. It says, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So you got to search for the Most High with all your heart. 14. And I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Now you got a bunch of Israelites, I don't know, maybe 10,000 of them that live in Israel. That's not the blessing. That's not the blessing. The blessing is when the Most High delivers us from all these different nations and brings us back to the land of Israel. First thing he got to do is destroy the land of Israel with the maggot rats up in there, man. And then it's going to have to be rebuilt. Then you got these Edomites talking about the fulfillment. 1948 was the fulfillment of Israel. Hey, the only way that could be the fulfillment of the Most High is if the Most High is one of the Rothschilds, because that was a Rothschild's plan, man. That was a Rothschild production. Them people over there ain't the real Jews. They're gonna have to be that place is gonna be destroyed by the Most High, and then the true children of Israel and them people over there, them Israelites over there living right over there now, they better get the hell up out of there, man. Because the Most High ain't coming to deliver them. He going to burn them up right along with them devils.
That's right. Got a precept for you?
Go ahead. Well, let me finish this.
Yeah.
14 again. And I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh, and I will bring you again into the place hence I caused you to be carried away captive, which is the land of Israel, right? It says, because ye have said, Yahweh have raised us up prophets in Babylon. So we're in Babylon all over again. Do you understand that, James White? That there's, when you read Jeremiah the 50th chapter and Jeremiah the 51st chapter, where it speaks about Isaiah the 47th chapter, where it speaks about Babylon, you know there's two Babylons. You have the ancient Babylon. One of the rulers, the kings, was Nebuchadnezzar. And then you had the daughter of Babylon, which is this place right here. But you don't know that because you guys don't deal with prophecy. We're prophets of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, Elder Apostle Tom made a statement about Israel has to be built up. First, the Lord has to get rid of the maggot rats, I think you call them. Yeah, maggot rats. Yeah. Well, hey, this is the book of Isaiah 61:4. It says, and they shall build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations. Because right now, Israel is really in a state of desolation. It's really been that way since 70 AD. Even though they rebuilt it, you got Rothschild Boulevard. You got, what else you got there? You got Pink City. You got Tel Aviv. And Lord is going to destroy all of that. Rothschild Boulevard. What an insult, you know? And the Rothschilds were the main ones behind our slavery, you know, financing the ships. Even before the Rothschilds came on the scene, you had the Oppenheimers, which the Rothschilds, they worked for the Oppenheimer family. And they were heavy in financing the slave trade, so-called Jews. Now they have the nerve to take over our land and build a Rothschild Boulevard. That's a supreme insult. But it's all right because the Lord's going to destroy it, just like the Apostle said, and just like the prophecy is saying that I'm reading here. And they shall build the old wastes, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. Because pursuant to Ezekiel, what is it? Ezekiel 38 and 39, the land of Israel is going to be cleansed by those nuclear missiles. Ezekiel 39. 38 and 39, which again is prophecy. How come Mr. James White don't talk about that? How come you don't talk about the fact that the land of Israel is going to be cleansed by nuclear missiles, by fire? Nuclear missiles in the chariots. You don't talk about that because you're not a prophet, man. I'm talking to you, Mr. White, Breaking Bad. You're not a prophet. And your sidekick, he's not a prophet either. What's his name? Vocab Malone. You guys, yeah, you're two little guppies in a fishbowl, man. And this is way above your pay grade, all right? Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on in now. Come on in now. Gotta be quick around here, man. This is Baruch, the second chapter, and the second chapter in the 31st verse. It says, I can go up above that. Okay. All right, yes. Baruch, the second chapter, and the 30th verse on down. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities, and we're in our last captivities, they shall remember themselves and shall know that I am Yahweh, their God, their power. For I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, talking about here, and think upon my name and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, For they shall remember the way of their fathers, which they are Israelites, including the Gentiles.